Michael.
What's up, John? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am very good. It has been far too long.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
Like 2019.
yeah, yeah, like pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah. Carrie says it's been so windy. I was just saying that the weather's been nuts today here in Kitchener. It's been so windy. So,
Yeah. I like it, you know. I was outside today,
yeah.
and it just sometimes I would think of something interesting or challenging, and it would just happen to coincide with the wind, and
Yeah.
I'd be like, I wonder if this. It was
Right?
great.
If
Yeah.
our front door opened just before we came on here and the dog almost got out, I'm like, okay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's the right time to start. Things are going haywire. That's the right time.
Yeah. I've got
You
my
know.
older daughter babysitting upstairs with my younger kids. So, yeah, it's all good.
That's the thing, is like,
Yeah.
especially with the pandemic,
Yeah.
because you can't just be like, oh yeah, the kids are blank blank.
Yeah.
No, the kids are with you.
They're always here.
Yeah. That's good that you have an older sibling to
Yeah.
watch the younger sibling though.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
Yeah, and my
mm,
like basically my four oldest are almost all the ages of babysitting. Like Mackenzie turns 12 this year, so she'll be the age of babysitting too. So it's really just Tyler who's 4. So yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good range of children. I mean,
yeah.
good parenting choices, I guess, you
Right.
know.
Kev
Yeah.
says it's boiling where he is in the UK. It's like early summer. Well, that must be nice. We had summer and it left. We're back.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, we've got cold
Yeah,
wind.
we had a nice like 4 or 5 days of
Yeah,
really nice warm weather, and then it was like, well, that was great.
yeah. Mother
Mother
Nature.
Nature has had enough of that.
Yeah. I feel like people have
Yeah.
gotten used to it. Carrie says that everyone has their kids around. Yeah, I feel so too. But still, it's kind of nice to be able to actually chat because Tyler had a meltdown just as I asked him what his best advice to his younger self was. And I'm like, I feel like such an ass right now. Because Tyler was like interrupting him as he was trying to like say like this awesome advice to his younger self. Uh, so,
Yeah,
but
and
it's,
meanwhile, there's children screaming.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, maybe that was part of it, you know? Part of my advice to my younger self is probably going to be based around the screams of children as
yeah.
well. So
See,
I totally feel that.
you're the first person I've warned about that question, so you've had extra time to think about it, right?
You know what's funny? I haven't taken that time. I'm just gonna wing it. It's okay though.
Okay, you'll be like everyone else then. Okay, so for
Yeah.
those of you who don't know you though, can you give a little background on how you got into acting and stuff?
Oh man, yeah. So when I was a small child, I would like put on performances. Like my aunt and uncle would come over and
Mhm.
they'd be like, "Oh, where's Michael?" And then I would just like enter the room wearing just layers of my mother's clothing and makeup and just like start giving a concert. And they would be like, "Where did he even get that stuff?" And so just I always really enjoyed living in alternate realities. Like when
Yeah,
I was really young, I would make up imaginary friends, and my sister and I would like play elaborate games with these people who didn't actually exist. So
hmm
I feel like these were kinds of like my early starts of living in an imagined reality. Uh, but yeah, and then when I was like 7, my uncle, who's a theater actor, invited us, what's up, Dorian,
hmm
to a dinner theater version of a musical of what's it, Robert Louis Stevenson, Treasure Island.
Okay.
And he pulled some strings so that I was one of the kids who got to be on stage, and I was just screaming at the bad pirates and waving my foam sword around. And that was when I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is amazing. And
Yeah,
then yeah, and then so I knew I wanted to be an actor. I was looking at drama programs in University of Waterloo,
hmm
and then the girl I was dating in high school became pregnant with our son,
okay.
and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I need a real job. So I did environmental studies. I did the co-op program so that I could sort of work my way through it.
Mhm.
Got out of that, got a job in a call center, spent a few years there. Not happily, but that's not their fault. I don't think I'm cut out for that stuff.
Uh,
And then, yeah, and then I think about 25, I had a quarter life crisis where basically I realized like I still want to do acting. I still have a child,
Yeah.
but my child and I are living in my parents' basement,
Okay.
which actually allows me to, to go back to my childhood dream.
Yeah.
It's also good because I think if I had gotten a really fun environmental studies job after university, I might have stayed in it.
Mm.
But because I worked in a call center and hated my life, it really allowed me to go off the deep end into my childhood dreams again.
That's awesome. Well,
Uh,
not you hated your life, but that you got to go after your dream.
yeah. I mean, hated my life is an exaggeration, but oh man, that call center. And and like the first couple of years,
Mm.
thank you, King Gabon. The first couple of years of the call center, I was trying way too hard, and
Yeah.
I was this like one time the sales rep approached me, and was just like, Michael, why do you work here? And I was kind of
Yeah.
like, ow, what does that mean? And she's like, no, like you're not, this isn't you.
Yeah.
And I realized that it's just it wasn't the right fit. But the last year, some of the other reps who speak French left,
Okay.
so they needed to keep me,
Mm.
and that just gave me so much leverage. So suddenly I just started like coming in wearing what I wanted, not tying my shoes, taking breaks. Like one time I sang to this woman was switching departments, so I
Mm.
like went in and sang to her before she left, and like it's just just finally got to enjoy myself living there and being the absolute worst employee.
Oh,
Um, yeah,
but
which was great.
yeah, I feel like people put too much pressure on themselves leaving high school of having to like figure stuff out, and I feel that that's a topic that needs to be talked about more, that sometimes you don't have to have it all figured out right out of school, that sometimes it takes longer. Like for me,
Yeah,
I had gone through school wanting to be a doctor, and then I got pregnant at 19, had a baby at 20, so that took a back seat. But then I opened a cake company. The cake company led to TV, and then when that show went off the air, the producer knew that I liked acting and musicals and stuff in school, so I went and auditioned for one of Alan's TV shows and got a role, and then started taking acting classes. So
yeah,
like, you don't have to have it all figured out, because I didn't even hit acting until 2018. So, and I'm 37 now.
yeah.
So yeah, so like, you have the same kind of thing. Like you didn't have it all figured out right away, and I think people like teenagers are putting way too much pressure on themselves, that you can go and explore other options if you need to, right? So
Yeah, definitely. And first of all, like, congrats on hitting it this hard and effectively. On coming around to it. That's pretty cool. It's also
yeah,
very cool that you were doing cakes on TV. Like, that's pretty neat.
yeah. I
Oh,
an acting segment on Rogers TV, so that was fun to go do and teach people once a month. And then they offered me my own show, but I didn't have time to do it. We ended up filming the pilot. It was for a program that I was running to do pro bono cakes for people that are like severely ill, or people that need cheering up, or people that do tons of stuff in the community. And then people,
aw.
yeah, we would surprise them with the cake. So they were like filming the whole process of making the cake and the nomination and delivery. It's just due to time constraints, I just didn't have time to do the rest of the series. But it was nice to even be like asked and offered that position. So yeah,
Yeah, that's fantastic. And
yeah,
that's a great TV idea. You should see if they want to revisit that because that's really fantastic. Yeah, and I bet some of those cakes were amazing.
right.
Hey guys,
I,
so remember that cake thing?
yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking of trying to bridge it into Instagram for an Instagram live series. So yeah,
Okay. Hey, you could be making cakes on Instagram. I would watch that. I
right.
would watch that aggressively. Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, but I think you're very right, and I think a lot of my journey has been
yeah,
based around, just feeling internal pressure to succeed or make a life or make money or have a stable job and all of these things that frankly I really don't want to do.
right.
And but I think there is a lot of pressure on well, on our generation and our parents' generation even more of like, oh, you want to be happy? Oh, you want to have any self-worth as a human? Well,
Yeah.
here's what you have to do. Follow these steps, and then you will achieve happiness. But then
Yeah.
we see all these people who have that and aren't happy, and realize that like, oh, maybe there
Yeah.
are other ways to find that happiness. Maybe it's not about following the prescribed steps towards financial stability.
For sure. And like sometimes you have to go through certain things first in order to find something, right? Like I went through school thinking I was going to be a doctor. I never once thought I would be an entrepreneur at 20 years old and open a company, right? Right. And I
Which is
had to
pretty
go,
cool.
yeah, I had to go through all that to have the mentality that I could, because acting in itself is like owning a company, right? Because you are your brand. So
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
but the 16 years of having a business training basically transferred over into acting. I just had to adapt what I was selling. So, yeah.
Nice. That is a very good way of describing that, actually. And I've noticed that you're quite good at the business side of promo and self-promo. So like, well done on that. That's very transferable. Yeah, totally.
I,
Like sometimes,
yeah, I was
what's
just saying,
that?
I love marketing. That's one of my like my favorite things. So,
Nice. You know, the
yeah,
industry needs more people like you because a lot of film industry, especially at the indie level, is just like these creatives who make these projects and spend so much time and energy and then get to the end of it and it's like, wow, I've spent like 5 years of my life making this feature film. Great. What do we do with it now? I don't know. We just put it on YouTube and let it die a slow death? Like,
yeah.
ah, many of the things I've done are just like on YouTube,
But
dying slow down.
yeah, there's lots of people coming out now though that have trainings that are gearing more to the business side of the industry, right? Because that seems to be lacking in everything that like when you go to acting school, I feel like the business teaching is lacking in that. Where now you have people like Heidi Dean coming out with how to market yourself on social media. You have people like Jodie Bentley who offers the
Yeah.
Actors Think Tank, which is a monthly membership to learn all the branding and the marketing and how to pitch yourself and all
Hmm.
that type of stuff, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like now that we're in this pandemic, all those things are coming more into play because a lot of us have moved online that weren't, and we need to learn all these things because now we can only market ourselves and pitch ourselves on a phone call or through something like this. Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I think part of it is also that the industry is changing though. I mean, it used to be a little more cut and dried, where it's like, oh, you want to be an actor? Okay, train until you're good, do some
Yeah,
student projects to build a reel of how good you are, use it to get an agent, keep
yeah,
training while they get you auditions. If you're good, you'll book the occasional audition, you'll make some money, you'll pay for better headshot. Like it was very like, you
mm,
know, here is this gatekeeper of casting, here is this gatekeeper of your agent. So here are the steps that you have to do to be able to get to this and then to this
yeah,
versus now with like with and I mean and that's still an aspect of the industry for sure. But there's also this indie film thing where, if you make connections with people who are doing good things in the indie world, you can be in something that gets noticed and then people notice you. So there's also
yeah,
this whole other level of like
mm,
marketing yourself to people who are creating at an independent level to try to get
yeah,
noticed that way.
yeah, for
So I
sure.
think it's meaning too.
Yeah, and it's authentic connections, right? Like we're like I hate telling people to go make connections because some people don't approach it from a I want to get to know this person way. They approach it from the oh I just want something from you type of way. Like if you
Yeah, yeah,
make
yeah.
connections, they come and they offer you stuff without you asking. Like I've been offered I think 3 or 4 productions now because I've made authentic connections with these people and they've gotten to know me and then they offer me roles without me even auditioning, right? So that's what happens when you make authentic connections with people and get to know people and not just approach it from, oh, I want something from you. Yeah.
Well, totally. And I think it's like, it's like with acting itself, where, people are like, oh, well, like when I started acting, I was terrible. And I was like,
Mm,
oh, I'm really funny and charming and a charismatic dude. I'll be famous in a week.
yeah.
And still not famous. Don't know if anyone's noticed that. So, but I think people want a magical solution and
Yeah.
they're just like, what, how do I do this? How do I get to that point? well, you train and you get really, really good, and you very gradually, through your passion and love of your work, find other
Mhm.
people who are passionate about and love their work and build connections, and then one of them needs something, and they're like, oh, I worked with you on this, and you were great, and I could see that translating to this. And it's a very long, gradual road. So I think people hear like, oh, it's who you know, it's making connections, and they go, oh, okay, so I just need to, thank you. Ontario famous. I'll take it. But people hear, oh, you have to make connections. Okay, well, I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
Instagram a bunch of casting directors and be like, hey, do you have a role for me? Hey, do you have a role for? And they want this fast solution. They want to just get there. But even with making connections, it's not a fast solution. It's a very gradual process of doing
Yeah.
your work, loving your work, doing your work with other people,
Yeah.
and building those friendships and
Yeah.
creations.
And something I actually had an epiphany this week when I was trying to explain something to somebody. There was this woman in one of my groups that is an actress, and she was getting really mad because she feels that all the A-list actresses are like 5'5" and like twigs. And it came to me, and what I said to her was basically, because I'd started doing the branding stuff, is if you don't see a place for you to fit, you have to show the industry where you fit. Melissa McCarthy, not the standard A-list actor that you're talking about right now, but she showed the industry where she fit, and now she books lead roles, right? Same with who's the one that plays Fat Amy? You know what I mean? Like in Pitch Perfect. She had, you know what I'm talking about? She's Australian,
Not Amy
but
Schumer.
no, the other blonde one. But she again, like she's not the standard A-lister, right? But she showed the industry where she fit. The Rock. Anybody goes in, like looks up The Rock's history and life story, he didn't fit the mold of becoming who he is right now. He showed the industry where he fit. And that's what you have to do. You have to show them where you fit, because casting and producers and directors don't have the time to constantly get to know you and figure out where you fit. So you have to show them where you fit. Mm.
Totally, totally. And I mean, a big part of what I've been trying to do
Mm.
is find, if nobody is casting me in something that is
Mm.
this kind of role, I
Yeah.
will spend some time with some writers and try to create that role for me, and then try to find producers to produce that. I mean, I end up doing a lot of low budget producing myself to
Yeah.
facilitate that, but that's a big part of it.
For sure.
Thank you. But
That's pretty standard for reels, though, right? Is if you want to pitch yourself for a project, but you don't have the content to pitch yourself, go find content and put it on tape and submit that for a reel. Like it doesn't have to be something that's on network TV. You can do it like a self-tape version now for your reel if you want to submit to something. That's the new standard. So
yeah, yeah, definitely. And I mean, and there are places that do that. I know LB Studios with Louis Beaumonder, you can
mm,
pay a bit of money, and they not only film the scene for you but also coach you through it. So that's a good option. It's a bunch of
yeah,
things.
you don't even have to get
I
that fancy. Like Joseph Perlman in LA is basically saying that the new reels are just basically a self tape. You can go get coaching for it, of course, but like you could just like our standard self tape, go find content and put it on a self tape and submit it for a role. Just yeah, match the
Yeah,
content of self tape to the role you're submitting for and want to pitch yourself for.
that's fair. And I feel like that's
Mm,
I don't know. It's always a tough call because on the one hand, you
mm,
want to you want to put as much time and effort into every audition.
yeah,
I would love the idea of having like, oh,
yeah,
you want a crazy person? Here's my crazy person demo reel. Oh, you want a happy romantic guy? Here's my happy romantic reel. That's a lot of work. So on the one hand, you're like, well, is that
mm,
spreading myself too thin if I try to put that much into
yeah,
each one? On the other
yeah,
hand, like if you get one really good roll out of it,
exactly.
that can be a big step. I
Sure.
think part of it is also though like it's so easy to get cynical and and just get used to being rejected at auditions, and then to protect your yeah, definitely tough to protect yourself by putting up walls and going, this doesn't matter, I'm just going to go in and do my thing, and if they like me, they like me. And
Right.
it's easy to get into that mindset, and it's hard to do, but if you can maintain your doing it for the love of the craft, then it becomes a lot easier to every audition go, okay, yes,
Mm,
I am going to spend 2 hours on this 5-second piece of dialogue to
yeah.
craft it with, all of its nuances possible.
Mhm.
M- and yes, I'm probably not going to get the role anyway. So it's
Yeah,
it's very much finding the love of the process. Otherwise, it's just so easy to just be depressed and
yeah,
angry.
for sure. I feel like I've been ignoring the comments because mine weren't scrolling and you were seeing them and I wasn't.
Yeah, I also wasn't super like commenting on it, but
Um,
like
uh,
a lot
let's
of
just,
good comments. We'll go
yeah,
and respond to them all after.
yeah,
But
make cakes with,
also,
yeah, love the Pepsi product shot. Yes, we are sponsored by Pepsi, but not really.
maybe they would give us money for it. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
leave Brittany alone. Did we mention Brittany? Maybe we did.
Britney
You'll
Spears.
be at ease because that's where the actors who are trained in acting like me are weak. Your marketing is spot on. Thank you. No self-selling. Yes, haha. No business teaching at all. Would they change it again? I'm still looking for it. So some of this doesn't make sense anymore because we've already passed this. How would you do that during COVID?
Yeah.
Can you let me know what you were asking about how we would do during COVID? Did you mean marketing or pitching or
Or
um
indie stuff.
yeah, Colchester famous too. Yeah, Mike, you're Colchester famous.
Thank you.
Um, first actor friend I met in Canada. You're famous for me. Oh, Rebel Wilson. Rebel Wilson was the Australian actress. Thank you, Michael. Uh,
Ah,
there's also a place for a good pirate, tough balancing act. Okay, we're caught up. Okay, I promise I wasn't ignoring you. They just weren't scrolling for me.
fair. I'll also go and respond to them later.
All
Yeah,
right.
thanks, guys.
Okay, so before I forget, I want to ask you, what is your best advice to your younger self?
This is gonna kind of cycle back a bit to when we were talking about like the social pressures of succeeding.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, and I was gonna I'm tempted to say nothing at all because when I was young, I had all of these hang-ups and these issues, and I was putting pressure on myself to have stability in a real job, and then I finally like got that out of my head and started pursuing what I actually wanted to do. But then I had all this weird pressure about succeeding. I mean, I went through probably almost a year of just like any audition with money attached, I would always
Yeah.
forget have wardrobe that didn't match or forget a line or be late there was always something going on. And
Yeah.
finally I had to realize that I was actually, I'd gotten so used to being rejected at auditions. And of course, if you do a really great job in an audition, you no longer have control over the process because
Yeah.
you are now one person in the group of people that they're looking at. The only
Yeah.
way to actually control the result of an audition is
Mm.
to do a terrible job because now you have controlled the fact that you are not in the running. So
Right?
I was literally sabotaging myself in creative ways so that after every audition I could be like, well, I didn't get that, but that's because blah blah blah, so that I didn't actually have to deal with the rejection of wow, I really did my best on that, and now I still have no idea if I'm going to get the role or not.
Mm.
So that was a process that I had to go through. Once a year, I have a crisis and question whether I'm doing the right thing, and I break down and I cry a few times, and then I write a song about crying, which was recently released. And and all of these things just about the pressures that we put on ourselves and our minds. So I
Mm.
kind of want to be like, hey, younger self, like relax, it's fine, just live your life. But at the
Mm.
same time, like all of those things that I went through
Mm.
have definitely, have showed me depth and nuance, have pushed me to certain extremes, and have essentially, have essentially given me the personal journey that is now who I am. So I don't know
Yeah.
if I would have any advice for my younger self. Hey,
Yeah.
things are going to be shitty, and that's okay. Keep doing it.
Well, I feel like your younger advice is basically sometimes you have to go through things to learn things so that you can get to where you go. I feel like that is
That's good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like everything in your life is like a lesson or a blessing, so you had to learn those lessons.
Yeah, I like that, Jen. That kind of rhymes, you know? It's either
Yeah,
a lesson or a blessing.
right? But it's not a lesson. Don't say lesson. It's a lesson. I sometimes mess that up. I'm like, lesson, no, lesson.
Lessing. Lessing? Leasing?
Asking about networking during COVID with people you don't know. Instagram is a great place to network with people, but not in a sleazy way. Like, don't be one of those people that goes and finds a casting director and instantly hops in their DMs. Like, go find where I would start is find if you have IMDb Pro, find productions that you think that you would be castable in, like previous productions. Find who worked on those productions. Then find if they have social media. Then spend a couple months just genuinely making connections with them, like commenting on photos you would actually comment on, right? In a genuine way, not just like, oh yes, they're cool, but like actually taking the time to think of thoughtful comments. Like think of it as how would you approach creating a friend with somebody, right? Like I wouldn't, if I didn't know Michael, I wouldn't walk up on the street and go, hey, can you cast me in something? Like if I just met him, right? I would take the time to get to know him, like, how are you? What's going on in your life? How did you get here? Like, you know what I mean? I would take the time to get to know them first before I ever ask them a favor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of that is just to allow it to come from your very real passions about things. So, you know, speaking of making friends, I make a lot of friends who dress stylishly because I love clothes, and when I see someone wearing a certain outfit, I say, "Hey, that's really cool. I like how you matched this color, or I like how you put this together." So therefore, I have many good conversations about clothing because I love clothing. You know, if you're into acting and you see someone on your feed that's an actor, or you Google and you find some actor, you look at their stuff, and if you see a picture of them doing something cool, you're like, hey, that's really cool. And you know, and if you have a question, maybe you comment on a post of theirs that's similar and be like, you know, I'm glad you posted this. I had this question, and you know, and just let it come organically from your interests. You know, if you really like making movies, especially low budget indie films, cruise around on a couple of hashtags, you will find people making those films, and it
Yeah.
will be fun and interesting for you to look at their content. And you will
Yeah.
gradually think of things to say because you will have looked at a bunch of it and be like, I like this stuff. Here's a comment on that. And you know, and then you're making friends.
Yeah. And a great way, like Michael said, that I wanted to touch on too and go back to is that you said ask a question. Asking a question to somebody, a genuine question, is a great way to start a conversation, right? And not just leave it as a comment. Because when you ask a question, then they're going to answer you. Maybe you have a follow up thing to that. Now you've started a conversation with somebody. Yeah. And
Yeah.
Instagram is a platform, if they have a public account, where that's acceptable to go and start commenting on somebody's photos that you don't know. Twitter is another great place for actors and industry people to go over and make connections on Twitter. And if you
Is it
want,
really?
it is actually. I didn't think so until I started following Heidi Dean, Marketing for Actors. If you want a step-by-step process, go check out Marketing, the number 4 Actors here on Instagram. She's also got a YouTube channel. I've also taken her paid course, but she's a step-by-step process for all the different platforms for actors on how to network and genuinely grow. So, yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. I haven't used Twitter in ages. And I don't know, maybe that's a mistake. I don't know.
It's not my favorite. It's not for everyone, but it's like it's my secondary. So Instagram's my baby. Facebook used to be my baby because I had a business. Still have a business, just not as much now that COVID's here. But
Yeah.
yeah, Facebook was my baby. Instagram's now my baby, and Twitter's like my secondary. And Facebook, I still hop over to do like group trainings and stuff. So yeah,
That is
but yeah,
cool, yeah.
Twitter and Instagram seem to be great places to network and grow with people in this industry. So, yeah.
Nice, yeah. I mean, I love the
Uh,
Instagram thing.
yeah, Clark
But,
Christopher Michael. I wish there was a streaming service for local indie films. Check out Zerb TV, xerb.tv. They are a local streaming platform. You can actually create your own channel on there if you're indie film, or you can
really?
hop on the channel. Yeah, like Confest is a channel now on Zerb TV.
What? Okay, yeah, that's XERB?
Yeah, xerb.tv. Mhm.
Damn, I'm gonna write that down too. That's fantastic.
Mhm.
I'm gonna comment it so that people can see it.
Yeah, so,
XERB.
yeah, you can join somebody else's channel, so you can approach somebody else about joining a channel that's already been created on Zerb TV, or you can start your own indie channel, and then you get people can buy subscriptions to your channel too, and you can make money off of it, right? So,
Nice. That's
it's
amazing. Also, it auto-corrected my comment to serb.tv,
it's doing
which
XERB. Stop auto correcting me.
right? Yeah. Sorry to anyone Croatian watching this. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, all right, good. We're all on this. Thank you, Amy, as well. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one for females. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but it was in um I will pull it from the group I'm in on Facebook because there's one specifically for female indie makers that are looking for people with films. So if you're a female, there's one for you. I just can't think of it off the top of my head right now, but because I'm live, of course. But I will pull it from the
Obviously,
Facebook
yeah.
group that I'm in, and I will post it below this replay when it's posted. So, hmm.
Yeah, agreed. Dorian, Serb the new empire. I love it. Soon. I love all of the memes with like soon cat, and it's just like a happy puppy playing with the ball, and then you look in the corner of a photo and there's just like a cat with the
Yeah,
caption soon.
yeah.
I love
I
those.
feel
Yeah.
like we need to like a
Memes.
random question like segment here, and like, do you prefer Pepsi or Coke, Michael?
You know, I went through a phase where what's up, Yusuf, where I was all about root beer, and I considered myself a connoisseur. This is before I was drinking age, so the only thing I could connoisseur was root beer.
Oh,
And I could give you a breakdown of like, now Hires was my favorite, followed by
yeah.
Bark, followed by Mug, although uh, Yusuf on Team Coke over here. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
sponsored by
No,
Pepsi.
I was Team Hires. It was the most sour and it had this really nice sour tanginess to it.
Yeah.
NW wasn't bad, but a little more on the sweeter end. Barks was okay, but had a little more bitterness, and then Mug was just a bit too sweet for me.
Okay.
Um, Dad's root beer was great, nice rugged sort of burn the roof of your mouth kind of a flavor.
Yeah.
Uh, Dad's was great, but it was more expensive. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's Dorian drinks Fanta because he has ginger hair. That's amazing. So wait, if I drink Fanta, will my hair go ginger? Actually, is there any kind of soda that'll bring it back? Because that'd be great.
Yeah. Soda's probably actually getting rid of it
Ouch.
because it's not
Uh,
for you.
hold up. We have a root beer brewer in Colchester. That's fantastic. I want to hear more about that because I'm a big fan of root beer.
I missed
That's
that.
pretty amazing.
How are you getting these comments and I'm not? They're not scrolling for me.
Jen, yeah, you really need to allow your phone to scroll. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's work with me here. I also have this new like microphone looking icon that I have no idea what it does. I'm afraid to touch it. Do you have one on your end?
Fair on mic. Also, no, I've got one that's like a camera with a plus on it,
Yeah, like
and I've
I've
got like a switch to selfie mode,
like
but I don't see.
I'm gonna touch it and I'm gonna find out what it does.
Okay,
It mutes me. They added a mute feature.
that is it. They're learning from Zoom. What's up,
Right?
Jay? They're
So
learning from Zoom. That's amazing.
if like one of
This
my
is
interrupts me, I can mute myself now. Cool.
this is the thing is that like
Yeah.
how there comes a part in the sci-fi movie where the robots or the AI viruses start growing and changing, or the raptors in Jurassic Park, and
Yeah.
the doctor character is like, oh my God, it's finally happening. They're communicating with each other. This is
Yeah.
the age we're living in. Instagram and Zoom are learning from each other. I need
Yeah.
to hide.
Okay. What it's talk to each other issue. Like if you and I talk at the same time, it mutes one of us. Have they fixed that issue? Okay, let's talk at the same time, and then you guys tell us who you can hear. Okay, ready? One, two, three. Hey, Michael,
Okay,
how
so when there's sci-fi movies and yeah, I can no longer hear you right now.
they
How did
have
that go?
that sucks. That's like one thing they need to fix.
It does. It's also just like how hard is it to I don't know, to have two microphones and two sound feeds going at once? Like,
Because especially
that
now that they
works.
have rooms, like it's normal for somebody to talk over somebody to start on our next sentence, and like Instagram basically mutes you if that starts, and then like it's all blippy and you can't understand what people are saying. Hmm.
And thank you, Yusuf. Yeah, no, you know what though? It is fantastic. What's up, Chris? It's fantastic how social cues have changed because now on Zoom, you can't look
Yeah,
at body language. All you
yeah.
have, okay, interesting. You know, I wonder if people who came into this because they follow me heard me, and people who came into this because they follow you heard you. That would be interesting.
I don't
But
know.
anyway, so modern social cues, it's
Yeah.
like before it would be body language, and if someone had something to say, they'd kind of lean forwards, and if someone was like started something and someone else also leaned forwards, you kind of lean back and let them in. But now it's all over tone of voice. So like I was doing a table read for a friend's screenplay on the Zoom Reads group, which is great. Everyone should check it out. Great practice, very fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was doing this table read, and afterwards there was this. Oh, okay. Apparently, no, it was just me coming through. Maybe I'm louder. I've heard
Instagram
that
doesn't.
from many people. Jen, no. Instagram
But
loves you.
that's why they gave
You
me
are.
mute.
Right. They gave you a mute button to be like, yeah, just low key. We're gonna be muting you anyway. So like, here, pretend you can control it. But yeah, but like the modern social dynamic is so interesting because it's like people like instead of leaning forwards or using body language, people will like start a sentence and then pull back, and then like you'll hear three different Zoom feeds go, and then two of them will pull back, and then one will continue, and it's like the social dynamic has changed from body language to like making a noise so that you're the one who goes on the screen in Zoom. It's fascinating. Also, Sarge was hearing you, so.
I think he just means
I don't
he's
know.
follows.
It's not all you.
Yeah.
Question, Jen, from Carol. I'll handle the comments because Jen, where'd you go?
Oh, you froze.
Come in,
You're
Jen.
back. Okay, you're back. You froze for a second. You're
Hello.
freezing for me. Hi.
You're freezing for
Can you
me.
hear me?
Sounds vaguely
Are,
sensual. Yeah, I can hear you now.
are we back? Okay, we're
I
back.
think so. I don't know what that was.
Okay.
Okay, question from Carol. What actors inspire you? Both.
Okay. I can go first if you want. Chris Evans and Kristen Bell. Uh, Mainly, they're both incredible actors in their own right for different ways. But they're also incredible people where they're using their careers to help better the planet. Chris is huge into helping children's cancer and political stuff, making sure that people have unbiased information through his new platform, a starting point, so that they can make educated decisions for political stuff. Kristen Bell, her companies Hello Bello and This Saves Lives. One of them helps end hunger around the planet. The other one provides lower priced baby products to help parents out. And she actually also does like I think weekly or monthly draws for low income families to actually send them a yearly bout of like those products to help them out. So that's why I love them, not only because they're amazing actors, but they're amazing people and using their careers to help better the planet. So
That is an amazing answer, and I now feel terrible because I had nothing ready for this. That's amazing. They sound fantastic. I like that. I like that a lot. I I mean, for me, I'll be honest, I really like a lot of actors, but the ones that inspire me the most are Bill Murray and Jack Nicholson because I'm actually, and what's that, Bruce Willis, because I'm actually kind of uncomfortable about my receding hairline, and those are actors who are have have really killed it with receding hairlines. So
okay.
like, Shout out to those guys and their hairlines. I'm into it.
Yeah. Um,
I
that's
do
awesome.
agree with Sarge though. We should all help each other. Like,
Yeah.
but it is, and I mean, like, I can't wait to make money because I have so many ideas of
Yeah.
just like, of just ideas that would help people. And you see something or you have an in-depth conversation that has someone with a problem. Thank you, Christopher. Yeah, yeah, Jack Nicholson, his zaniness. I like that. But yeah, it's like I've got so many ideas just from talking to people and hearing their problems of like, man, I wish I had however much money that would cost so that I could set up this so that they could do that for each other and themselves.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, yeah, it's great to hear that they're doing that. But like,
Yeah, no, I totally get what you think because that's what I want to do with my career. That's one of the reasons I want to get to be an A-list actor, not just because I want to be an A-list actor and work in cool movies, but because I want to be able to use what I'm making and help better the planet. And one of the huge issues I want to tackle is hunger, not only like in third world countries, but hunger in our back doors because there are so many kids that are going to school hungry, and that's one of the issues that I want to help tackle as well. So, mm.
yeah, 100%, 100%. And I really think a big part of it is that there are, I mean, okay, let's blast into my theory here. So everything that we have as a species is
Yeah,
because of time and energy and human effort.
yeah.
If are we
You froze again. You're back.
are we back?
You're back.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
It's like everything we have as a species is because humans have mined this resource or grown this plant or developed this. Thank you, Mike. Yeah. Ouch. I don't know how that makes me feel, but it is accurate. I can't wait. Uh, but yeah, so it's like everything that humanity has been created by humanity
Yeah.
at the standard rate of this much human effort equals this much human resources. So
Yeah.
for there to be people who are poor means that there are people who are taking way more than they need. That's the only way that that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
And the people who have a lot more than they need
Mm,
are frequently locked in this scarcity mindset
mm.
where everything is about, well, I don't have enough, I need to make more money. Aren't you screwing over thousands of people who are going to lose their jobs? Yeah, but I don't have enough. I need more. I need more. And that's the scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
And I really think that what's going to start happening, and the more people meditate, which is happening a lot in the pandemic, I think the more it grows. But people
Yeah.
who have more than enough are going to switch their mindset from one of scarcity and fear and not having enough to
Mm,
one of gratitude for what they do have.
mm.
And it's funny, like nothing gives you more accessible income than being grateful for what you have. It's like if I wake up in the morning and I want, paid some money to my music producer to get started on my next song. It was a
Yeah.
lot of money. I don't have that much money. If
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning and I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't have enough." And then it's like nothing is accessible. I have to hold everything close to me. I can't pay my music producer. That's money. I don't have enough money. But
Yeah.
if I wake up feeling grateful,
Mm.
suddenly I am so grateful for everything I have. I am
Yeah.
so grateful for whatever money is in my account. And the idea of paying it to another professional to help me create something that might bring value to someone on this earth is amazing. Why wouldn't I do that? So I
Yeah.
really think the global mindset needs to shift towards gratitude,
Mm.
and then just everything will be better.
Yeah, Jim Fortin. I don't know if you've ever followed Jim Fortin. He's an amazing um, transformational coach. He is a master hypnotist and neurolinguistics
Ooh.
programming. I took his transformational coaching program last year. It's hugely focused on mindset. His brother was also a shaman, so he brought in a lot of that teaching and stuff. It's hugely focused on who do you need to be, what do you need to do to then have the things that you want, instead of where most people approach it in like, oh, I need to have money in order to do this thing, right? In order to get this, where it's backwards, right? You have to be that in your internal world first. You have to be abundant. You have to be thankful in order to have that in your external world, because we speak and think our lives into existence. Basically, our negative energy attracts more negative things, and our positive energy attracts more positive things. So if we keep a positive mindset and we think we are rich and abundant in our internal world, then that's going to start to transfer into our external world, because we're no longer focused on the lack thereof, because the universe is like a puppy dog and wants to please us. So if we think we don't have enough, it's going to give us not enough. Instead, we focus on we're abundant, we're thankful, then the universe gives us more of that. So
Yeah.
that's a very small portion of those teachings, but they're really interesting. And if you want to check them out, it's I am Jim Fortin is his Instagram, and he's also got a podcast, which is really interesting to listen to.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. I mean, I also love the idea of shamanism. I don't
Yeah.
know, like
Mm.
when I was a child,
Yeah.
I just I just wanted to be a shaman when I grew up and a Ninja Turtle. Neither of those things are that likely for me, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, just the rugged, it's like the combination of rugged connection to nature and just being with nature
Yeah.
combined with that spiritual aspect. I love that stuff. That's really
Oh,
cool.
Angel just joined. Hey, Angel.
What's up, Angel? Fellow Chronicles of Blood castmate. What's going on?
Chronicles of the Blood. Woo woo.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Jenna, if there's what bringing that up makes me think is that if nothing else about this extremely challenging and stressful life choice that we've chosen, it
Mm.
does lead to a lot of really fun experiences. Like Jen Gardner hasn't died of blood loss and doesn't know what that feels like,
Yeah.
but Jen's character does, and and I think you get to bring that into
Mm.
your life. It's like those horrible experiences that make you wiser when you come out of. Acting
Yeah.
is great because you get to do those things without actually having the negative impact of doing those things.
Yeah. Can you save the slide, please? The replay will be posted on my profile after we're done. Yeah. So don't
Nice.
worry if you're
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Speaking
Maria
of,
Graham, what's up? Dave and Greg. She was
uh,
in
do
a
you
web
want some
series.
shameless self promotion of all your productions right now?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Jen. That would be great. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I mean, yeah, I mean the biggest thing right now is I've launched a music career, so to
Mhm.
speak. Yeah, no, that's a great point uh sometimes our greatest memories aren't actually didn't actually happen in real life. Very true. And but also our worst ones. Like there are some things that I've lived through as an actor that I now it has really increased my empathy because now if I hear about someone doing something horrible, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I did something horrible. I not for real, but like I know how much self-hatred and personal internal pain it takes to do
Mhm.
something horrible. So it changes the way I look at it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Regicide coming up, gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
So we're filming a feature film this summer called Regicide about a guy, no, about a group of people in an enclosed space
Yeah.
and aliens.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, the music thing is big for me. Like, if anyone wants to like check out Borrowed Thoughts on Instagram or on Facebook,
Yeah.
and yeah, exactly, Dorian. Yeah. And I've got a song called Decompress. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, it's on everything. People want to listen to that. That makes me happy. There's a music video on YouTube. Um, then just wrapped a feature film, Snowblind, which took 3 years to make and involved a lot of me running around buck naked in the snow, playing with the limits of what body temperature a human can survive.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's in post production now. Hopefully that'll be out soon. Got
Yeah.
a short zombie romantic comedy called Prom of the Dead,
Okay.
going to be passing the teaser around soon. If anyone wants to share the teaser, that helps us out because then we want to try to get it in some film festivals. And it's basically a love story between two members of the undead community.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, I'm super excited for Snowblind. And I am also personally responsible for climate change. That is correct, and I apologize. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and I've got a comedic infomercial coming
Mm.
out very soon for the
Mm.
Fair Vote movement. And the
Okay.
idea is that people are ridiculous, and at the end of the ridiculousness, it's like, yeah, Mike was in Prom of the Dead as well. Played the villain boyfriend. You were great, Mike. But yeah, so that's gonna be coming out soon, and the idea is just like,
Mm.
here's some people being ridiculous, and then at the end, it's like,
Mm.
we don't we don't do this the way we did back then. Why do we still vote the way we did back then?
Okay.
Haha, makes you think. So yeah, so that's coming out soon. Pretty stoked for that. Yeah,
That's, you have a lot of stuff coming out. That's crazy.
I'm really, really lucky that
Yeah.
my parents allow me to live in their basement and my child to live in their house so
Yeah.
that I can pay significantly less rent and
Mm.
spend significantly less of my time trying to make money
Mm.
and spend significantly more of my time you know, on this stuff. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
like I mean like I've also got, two features that I'm writing. They're in rewrites. The first draft is out if anyone wants to read them.
Okay.
It's not great. It's a first draft. And
Yeah.
a cop show that I've written a pilot with a partner and I'm trying to get produced.
Okay.
Lot of,
This cop partner female or male? Because I'm like all for cop stuff.
you know what? It's funny because I pitched it to a producer and they were like, yeah, nobody wants cop stuff right now, ever since BLM. Yeah. So I don't know. Which honestly really took the wind out of my sails, so I spent some time writing a feature instead. Maybe it was for the best.
Can you
But
turn FBI agents or like
what's that?
CIA? Turn them into like FBI agents or CIA.
And like that's the thing. Maybe they just need to be FBI agents.
Yeah.
It's
'Cause-
yeah,
yeah.
it's a lot of work to rewrite that, but
Yeah.
it might ultimately be what I have to do. We'll see.
It's just an
You know.
idea. Or
Yeah. And I mean, and it's definitely like one thing that's coming out is that part of the reason that there are
mm,
a lot of issues is that it's uh cops are trained a certain way but then have to deal with everything from social work to to child care,
mm,
and but meanwhile they go in with guns and tasers when it should be a social worker without a gun going into that situation. So defund the police doesn't mean we don't need cops. It means let's save cops for when a gun and a taser are needed, and
mm,
and get a social worker in there for when the social worker is needed. Because it's also unfair to ask these
mm.
individuals to deal with so much, and obviously they're gonna mess up sometimes. That because they're
And the,
they're given so much to deal with.
yeah, at the end of the day, everyone is human. So humans make mistakes. Some make bigger mistakes than others. So
Yeah, and it's easy to make very big mistakes when you are carrying a gun or a taser, like especially a gun.
mhm.
So that's and that's kind of what the cop show is a little bit about. Sorry for
Yeah,
getting political there, everyone. I apologize. But that happened.
yeah.
Jen would be a bad girl FBI agent who reveals she's the villain.
Oh, you for
Yeah,
yeah.
it's you're super
I played
nice.
a.
You're
I
really.
never get to know because everybody sees me as like me, right? So I'm always like the one coming in to like save the day or like you know what I mean, like the smiley one or the one that's like the mom type of role, but in FBI or like military, right? Like the one that's coming in to like set everyone straight. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, which is a great thing to go for. Although, if you've got a villain in you,
Hmm.
write it up,
Well,
write it
I,
up and pitch it.
It's funny that you say that because I'm participating in Self Tape May with Audrey Helps Actors podcast. So you're supposed to do 16 self tapes and then post them on Instagram, right? So I found some previously aired content, and then I found some monologues that I got permission to post, and a couple of them are bad guys, so I get to play with the sass a bit. So
Yeah, yeah. Nice. Very good. Very good. And I think that's the thing is that like, when you love what you do, the
yeah,
amount of work that you are willing to do for free or that you are thrilled to get a way to do for no money is amazing because what would be better than practicing 10 different characters and scenes? That sounds fantastic. I might do that as
yeah.
well. I'll have to look at it.
Dorian says I look like Emma in Once Upon a Time.
Aw, great show. Yeah, all right, I see it. Is Emma the
Okay,
blonde one? Is she's a brunette Emma, maybe? Yeah? Okay.
maybe. No, I'm no longer blonde. I got rid of the blonde. I'm sick of re-dyeing my hair every 2 weeks. So I've just decided to be a brunette, which I am. So
You
yeah,
know what? You're living your truth, Jen. I love it. I love it.
yeah.
Okay, Dorian, that is true. What would be better than getting to practice 10 different characters for no money? Answer, practicing 10 characters and being paid. That is correct.
That's
Yes.
correct. This is a way to work an actor's muscle, and then the prize, whoever wins self tape May actually gets to go on Audrey's podcast. So like,
Nice.
it's a fun thing that I get to. I have a reason to post 16 self tapes on Instagram, so people can see
Yeah.
my skills, and I get to play with other characters. I get to practice the muscle of self taping and
Hmm.
potentially win a prize. So, right?
Fantastic. Win-win. I'm gonna see what my May looks like because this sounds amazing.
Yeah, Audrey Helps Actors podcast is putting it on. She puts it on every May, and it's to help actors work their self-tape muscle. So,
I'm gonna put it in Audrey, Audrey.
yeah, Helps Actors
No.
podcast.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I think we're on the hour mark. So does anybody have any questions left for Mike and I before I let him go on with his evening?
I'm glad, Dorian. I'm glad.
Oh, and she's on Instagram too. So it's not just a podcast. She's doing this on Instagram. So like put that all together into one word, and you will find her Instagram page. Yeah.
Nice.
So unfortunately, he can't like technically pin it because the comments disappear afterwards after the replay post. I hate that they do that. I wish they would save the chats for Instagram lives. But what I will do is I will go back through what we talked about, and I will put in timestamps and show notes along with all the stuff that we were talking about so that you guys can reference it. Might take me a couple of days, but it'll eventually be in there that you can reference back to. So yeah.
Nice. Especially the new Empire of Xena, because that's really cool.
Uh, any common projects for Mike and I? Yeah, so the Chronicles of Blood. It's a vampire series. You can find the trailer on my profile. I'm pretty sure Mike's posted it, or if you go to 11 Entertainment, but you have to
I
switch out
should.
L for ones. So it's E11EVN Entertainment. Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
thank you, Mike. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Dorian. Thank you, Sarge. It's really great to have you guys, being
Thank you, Effie.
engaged, and it's really great to have you with us. Thank you.
For sure. Thank you for tuning in again to another coffee chat. We had two this week, which is crazy. It doesn't usually happen. And I will be posting the replay. So if you want to go back and watch it, I will be doing timestamps and show notes, as I just mentioned. It just might take me a couple days because I have to rewatch the whole episode and then find the timestamps and find the things we were talking about. And then, yeah, I will share the trailer for the Vampire series to my IG story right after this thing, and anyone that's interested can go check it out. Mike's in that too with me. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. I will also tag me in it, and I'll share it too.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining me tonight. I'm glad we were able to connect. It's been so long.
It really has. Jen, I'm glad that you're killing it and hustling and that everything's going really well. And, good luck with your acting, your marketing, and your children, because that's
Thank-
all a lot of things.
yeah, and good luck with all the stuff you're doing. And of course, your little guy. And your parents are amazing. Tell them that they're awesome for me. So,
I will pass that on. Thank you very much. They need to hear it more, you know? Like they definitely do. And
uh,
thank you again everyone for joining us. That was a really great time for me.
bye
All right.
guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night.